All right. It's that time. It's time for Beyond Sight and Sound. Let's do this.
Are you looking for a high-quality beach and sand scoop? Are you trying to take your hunting to the extreme? How about an American-based company that stands behind their product and everything they sell? Then check out our friends over at XTREME Scoops. John has been making scoops for some time now and makes a quality beach and sand scoop to take your hunting to the next level. XTREME Scoops recently released their new sand shredder that works great in the water and on the beach. And if you're a new Equinox user, you may want to check out his Surfmaster X3 that can trap those small targets you new Equinox users are finding out there. XTREME Scoops' company approach is let's do it right. So do it right, buy it once, and go to the extreme. XTREMEScoops.com. That's XTREME scoops.com. Caution. Please do not operate motor vehicles or power equipment while under the influence of this show. Listening to this show could cause side effects such as bouts of laughter, violent binges of cabin fever, and even dreams of silver and gold. Please be advised. Now that the fine print is out of the way, on with the show. All right, we're back and we're live once again. You are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for all the really cool digging people out there. And when I look into the chat, I see Ohio Relic Hunter's got the in-studio cam working. He's first through the gate. I see that Mike's in. Aggie's aboard. Welcome. Paul, Chuck, I believe Bill's counterpart should be in here as well, probably by this point. And maybe a few others that I may or may not have missed. I don't know, because the chat's already moving. You guys are all wired up again, and gals. And I'm sure, speaking of gals, Barb will be through here sooner or later, too. And with seeing Aggie in the chat, congratulations, Aggie, on your recent win of the Spike from Predator Tools. Good job. Nice. So, let's see. Welcome to Peter, Nelson. Welcome aboard, everybody. So I guess we should just get right into things because we got to be moving along here. So links in the description. First and foremost, our friends over at Shooters and Prospectors. Chuck Smalley, the man with the plan, the dealer of choice that we like to plug here on the show. Also, he's a multi-line dealer, and for you Equinox users, if you have not gotten a hold of Andy's copy of Andy's book, the Equinox book, this is probably one of his best books yet. And, you know, Barb should probably order herself a copy. She might find a few Indians that way. So, we've got the links for Chuck. We've got the link for our friends at XTREME Scoops, our friends at Detecttees. Those cooling towels are definitely handy.
And then we've also got our links for our friends over at XP Team USA, their Facebook group, podcast, website. You can find their YouTube channel by searching for XP Team USA. And then we've also got the links for River Styx Outdoors, Brute Magnetics, and not any less important, definitely have to make sure to let people know that down in the description, with all the other links, there is the link for All Metal Militia Facebook group and YouTube channel. If you have not checked out their contest for the pinpointer giveaway, go ahead and check out the group. They're trying to get to 200 subscribers, and then one lucky person who followed the directions may actually win themselves a pinpointer. And hey, the price is right? Welcome aboard, Mike. So we've got Florida in the house as well. Speaking of Florida, quick disclaimer. Got the new fans in. We'll have to edit the ambience out of the show after the show, but that's the great thing about Spreaker. Those who hit the archives, they get the best audio quality because I go in and edit that ambience. But we've got to keep the show system cool. So, speaking of staying cool, you might want to make sure to take plenty of water with you there, Bill. 110 heat index the end of the week for those of us in Ohio. We're right in the frying pan. So if you guys and gals are out there, stay cool. Get yourself one of the cooling towels or something, because it's going to be a real mess. For all I know, I may be using one just to do the show next Sunday. Who knows? Maybe it'll be too hot that I'm not even doing the show next Sunday. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I've ran on entirely long enough because we've got not one, and okay, well, we don't have 6, but we do have 5 of the core members of All Metal Militia on with us tonight. And this is going to be interesting because since we're not through Skype, I can't see them. No, that's not a blind joke. I really can't see them. So, I guess we should get rolling with it and get them in here too, because, man, logistically, this has taken some time to put together. But we do have 5 of them with us tonight, so I'm just going to kind of move out of the road for a few minutes and give the floor over to them. First off, thanks for taking the time to sit down with us tonight, guys. I know that was quite a bit of messaging and scheduling going on between me and Ed, but everybody finally got it done. It's unfortunate that Joe is sick with the flu tonight, so we do keep him in our thoughts. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery, and who knows, maybe we can get him on the show sometime after the fact or something. So, how is it going, gentlemen? Go ahead and take a round around the table. Let everybody know who you are, what you're swinging.
Hey, Josh, it's Ed. Thank you for having us on. Yeah, we're here, All Metal Militia. I'm actually going around. I swing a Fisher F-75.
Hey, it's Jim, and I swing a Mine Lab Equinox 800. And thank you for letting us on the show tonight.
Hi guys, my name is Jay. I do a lot of the video editing and drone footage. I usually swing an AT Pro, or I also have a Minelab Excalibur. Having a lot of fun learning that device.
Hey everybody, Kendall here. Swinging the Supercalifragilistic XP Deus.
Very nice.
Swinging Equinox 800. I also want to say thank you for having us on. I'm looking forward to speaking with everybody that all's in and in chat also.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, thank you, Josh.
Hey, not a problem. Definitely, the pleasure is all mine, believe me. You guys, I mean, I've been watching you guys for a while. The group, the YouTube channel, the videos that you're putting up on a consistent and regular basis that are very well edited and full of some just phenomenal finds. But not only that, you're even throwing up some, mixing it up a little bit too, because recently, at least a few of you were involved in a recovery.
Yeah, that's right. There was, through networking and everything, Facebook and everything else that we have for social media, I actually had a friend of mine from high school who noticed a post of a lady that was looking for a ring that was very sentimental to not only herself but her daughter. They lost it at a local wreck. It's actually pretty much a halfway point between where we all come from in this region. And we decided it would be a good opportunity for us to get out there and help out, which we've done in the past. We've done a lot of recovery efforts for many people. We don't obviously charge, we just make sure we get out there and show people what we're about. It's not just about, relic hunting and everything else. We want, good personal relations, and we want people to know that, we're dedicated to what we do. And I guess the rest is history. We had an opportunity to document it. The mom was completely fine with that. And I think they were pretty excited about the find. We were excited about the find, and it just, all around, it was just a good feeling for the group, knowing that, we're not only using what we do as a staple to keep moving forward and keep finding history and as we say, defend history. It was a good point to show the community that, it's not just about that, and we want to support what we can in the community as well.
Absolutely, I would have to agree. And I mean, you guys know as well as I do, there is more than enough bad publicity out there, a stigma on the hobby. The public gets the wrong impression at times. So any time that we can do something like that recovery to help keep the hobby in a good light, it's definitely paying it forward to all of us in the hobby. I mean, you guys are being true ambassadors with that.
Yeah, I know Kendall actually, he's spoken to a person or two about recoveries and things like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's like one of the fun things that we can do to get out there and, like you say, just promote the hobby and shine a good light on what we're all doing. We tried to do a recovery mission a couple days ago. Thought we were looking for a diamond ring. We showed up and it was a diamond earring.
Those are tough.
Yeah,
very tough.
We had the other one. We tried to tune in there on it, but there was more diamond than gold on that thing. But we put in a really good effort. Met a great family here local to us, and hopefully also got some other permissions out of it in the process. But we had fun too, just spending some time teaching them how our detectors work, and it was fun.
Now, did you find, especially in your situation, Kendall, did you find them giving you a bit of a strange look when they saw the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
I think they more likely gave me the strange look because of my big hair and my big beard. We got a quite bearded crew here with all Metal Militia. I think really we've all got some sort of beard.
I have noticed that.
Not the cleanest crew we are.
It's a New England thing, Joe.
That's what I was going to say. It must be a New England thing.
Got to keep the face warm.
Right. Yeah, the winters get cold. I mean, you guys, a lot of years you don't thaw out until like June.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sometimes it seems that way. It either goes from being rock solid ground or it rains for 3 months. A lot of times we don't get to sink the spade into the soil for a solid 4 months anyhow.
Right, and that's gotta, I mean, I feel your pain, because like when we're under snow here and we're seeing people in Florida post or Arizona or California, I'm going, oh, you guys are killing me. But even here in Ohio, we thaw out quicker than New England, so you guys are probably going, this just isn't fair. This isn't right.
Well, I can tell you one thing. When the weather permits, especially in the wintertime, I remember a few years back, it was like 60 degrees on Christmas Day, and I just had the itch to go out detecting, and the ground was like butter. So, but when winter comes fast, and we just try to get as much digging in as possible, and hopefully the ground doesn't lock up sooner than later.
Right. Yeah, move into the woods as it gets colder. Well, you guys, from your videos, though, You guys spend a fair amount of time in the woods anyway, it seems.
Well, yeah, I mean, we try to do that. A lot of us have different permissions. We're in a big farmland area. Where I grew up, over on the other side of the Connecticut River in Vermont, you know, there's a lot of people that I've been in connection with over the years, and you know, growing up, you never really thought about the kind of land that they owned and the kind of history that's around. And you know, here we are many years later, and we're all sharing a hobby. And it's amazing how you just contact some old people, and you know, they might know some people, those people might know some people, and word gets around really fast around here about what we actually do. And I think, you know, the way we're preserving not only the history that we find, but also the experiences that we're going through on sharing them on YouTube, and people being able to view what we're doing. It answers a lot of questions, and before we even sometimes talk to people, they already know what we're about, and they know the respect that we show the land. They know what we're trying to accomplish, and it's kind of neat to be able to meet people. I mean, just the other day we were up at a permission, and the guy that I knew personally never met anybody else in the group. Actually, no, I take that back. I think he met Jim at one point, but he didn't know anybody else, and he was eager to shake their hands. I mean, he was a fan of what we're doing, and he knew the guys and came right up and introduced them, and you know, hey, you're Kendall, hey, you're Mark, or hey, you're Jay, or whatnot, and it's just really cool. It's a good feeling.
That had to have been a good feeling for some of the other guys going, wow, you know, he already recognizes me from YouTube or Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, it's very cool. But it's a lot. I mean, we definitely have a very good core group. Jay, like you mentioned earlier, Jay is just a whiz when it comes to that computer stuff. And anytime we have any questions, any hiccups with any footage or things like that, I mean, he's the man to go to, and he's just been doing amazing things with it. And sure, he probably has a bunch of things he'd like to share.
He is doing a phenomenal job with it, and I'm sure that other people that have seen the videos may be interested. Maybe Jay would like to share with us what cameras you guys use, or even what the editing software is.
Yeah, absolutely. For the most part, we're using our phones, and honestly, I don't even know what what every phone we have, but there's a slew of Androids and iPhones, and on top of that, we also run GoPros, anywhere from like a GoPro 3 up to a GoPro 6, and you know, sometimes matching the colors of the scenes is a little tough, but I'm learning. I went to school for graphic design, so I know a little bit about designing overall, but when it comes to film editing, this is all new to me, and I'm having a blast learning it. So when it comes to the film editing software, what I've been using is a program called DaVinci Resolve, and it's on the tougher side of programs to learn, but the fact that it's free is just incredible, and I couldn't speak enough about it. I think anyone who is interested in doing YouTube really ought to download this program and give it a whirl.
Right. Now, I'm intrigued seeing your videos myself, and being a fellow YouTube creator. That's a pretty feature-packed program for free.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, you could pay the $300 or so and get it fully licensed, but the additional benefits that it offers for paying for it just aren't quite enough for me to want to pull the trigger on buying it. So right now I'm still learning, enjoying what they have to offer.
Understandable, and doing quite well with it at that. Do any of you guys happen to do any video editing on your smartphone? Maybe you have a particular app you like to use. We did do an episode a while back asking people to share what apps they're using, if they do.
Yeah, I actually, aside from the Metal Militia, for the YouTube videos that I do, I use Viva Video, which is it's somewhat of a free app you can download on your phone. I use Android, but I use that, and I think it's either, I can't remember, a $3 or $4 charge a month to run the full app. It takes the watermark out. It allows you it unlocks a few different features. But the majority of the things that you do on there is, I mean, you know, cropping, cutting, moving, whatever. You can add some sound effects. But ultimately, you know, it's it all depends on how much time you're willing to put in. And I mean, with any free app, and I know there's many more out there that I really haven't dove into yet. There are a lot of other apps out there that can do pretty much the same thing. I guess it's just a matter of finding something that you're comfortable with, that you feel good about, and just know that at the end of all that time you're putting in, that you're going to be able to save it and upload it either on your phone or computer for later use, or upload onto YouTube. Right.
Makes perfect sense. And it looks like we had someone asking in the chat for confirmation if the software Jay had mentioned was DaVinci Resolve, and yes, I believe it was.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, DaVinci Resolve, they have a 15 that's out right now, and they also have the 16 beta. I'm using the 16 beta right now. There are some glitches, so I do recommend the 15. But, yeah, try it out.
Yeah.
This is Mark, sorry for interrupting. Another good program, honestly, if you have an older model computer, is really, if you want to get into the simpler end of it, is still Windows Movie Maker. They don't carry it on any of the newer models.
Right.
I think Windows might have been the last time that they had it, but if you happen to have an older computer, that's a great one. I use DJI products a lot. My drone is a DJI drone. My 3-axis gimbal is a DJI gimbal, and they come with a lot of proprietary software also. DJI Mimo and DJI Go 4 are good apps if you happen to use their products. But really, Windows Movie Maker and InShot are two of the things that I swap between my cell phone and my computer to make my videos on my channel. They've always treated me right. The options are a lot less limited as far as color correction and things like that go. But if you're kind of just looking to slap together a vlog-style dig video, they're pretty quick. I managed to pump out 3 videos in a few hours, 3 20-minute videos in a few hours really easily. As far as like beginner options, that's another one to go with Viva Video. But really, as long as you're comfortable with sitting down and learning, any of these options are really viable for making a good video. It really just takes some determination, and you can make crazy good things happen on limited software, or really good things happen on much more expansive software for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Again, I think it all boils down to the just your personal preferences. I mean, there's a lot of different programs out there, and it's just finding one that fits you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's right. I mean, you can do a lot with Windows Movie Maker if you still have access to it. I used to use it quite a bit myself. Now I'm, since it's not supported, now I'm using Adobe Premiere Elements and then a number of others like the GoPro Studio, ArcSoft, and it all just depends on what I'm doing at the time. I may jump back and forth between them and things of that nature. Yeah. But definitely, the DaVinci Resolve sounds like a very interesting one, and the Viva Video, for those looking into smartphone apps, they may want to check into that. Sounds like it's fairly user-friendly.
Hey, if I can pick it up, I think anybody can. Yeah.
Well, there you go, definitely. And I guess one of the things I forgot to ask at the beginning of the show is how long all of you have been in the hobby, and what inspired the start of All Metal Militia?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, I think among the group, there's been a variety of experience and length in the hobby. I mean, I've been doing it for a few years, probably 5, but it's really been in the last year and a half that I've sort of got that obsession bug that so many people talk about. I think we really all just came together this spring, just through the mutual love of getting out there. We connected, we started hunting together, and we said, like, we could do something to make this more fun, make our own place in the world with something. And so we just started talking, and now we're just hanging out and digging together pretty much all the time.
Nice.
Yeah, Mark. So I've known a few of these guys for a while from a previous group, but we've been digging for quite a while. I mean, Jim is our bottle dump guy. I mean, you mentioned a bottle dump, and Jim is gone. I think in one of the first videos that we put out, I think you can hear Mark talking about somewhere in there how Jim hears a bottle dump, he's gone. He'll be, neck deep in that thing before the end of the day. But I mean, with Mark and Jay and even Joe and everything, we've all met over the years, and the hobby has brought us together. The hobby's brought a lot of good friendships. With friendships, it also brings some hard times as well. There's always drama that you can't stay away from time to time, but we try to stay away from that as best we can. I mean, the biggest thing is we want this to be a hobby. We want to show people what we do. It's one thing to have a find and you post it online and you get a couple likes and everybody's like, oh, that's great. But it's another thing to be able to show people exactly what you do, give them an idea of how much trouble we go through on some of these hunts. I mean, some of these hunts we're huffing it, a mile or 2 or 3 or even more out in the woods looking for these old home sites. The amount of effort that goes in for the permissions, the amount of effort it takes to actually put the hunt on together. But right now, we're trying to mold our way as a core 6, and I do know that we have bigger, better things in the future that we are thinking about planning. We've already started pre-planning some of the things, but ultimately, at the end of the day, we're here for each other, and we want to see something good come out of all of this, and that's what we're striving for. But the short answer of everything, it's been around 6 years or so for me. I mean, I started off with a little cheap little bounty hunter thing that I think my parents got me 10 years before that for a Christmas gift. And I went out with another friend of mine for a little bit and, pulling up some Wheaties and things like that. And then really started getting into seeing what other people are using and then decided to kind of move on from there. And I tell you right now, your first silver, as soon as you find a silver coin, I don't care if it's a Roosevelt dime, you're hooked. I mean, you're instantly hooked to see, when you start seeing the stuff that actually comes out of the ground that these people walk over on a daily basis. I mean, that's what dragged me into all of it, was that and the love of history and being able to put a story together based on what we're finding and where we're finding it.
Oh, yeah, love the story behind the find.
Yeah, go ahead.
So for me, this is Mark again. I started detecting around 16 years ago, but I've been interested in history of all sorts my entire life. My town is the site of a historical fortification along the Connecticut River. I used to work at the recreation of the fort. I apprenticed under the blacksmith when I was 9 years old up until I was around 12. I've been involved with local historical societies most of my life. My family lives on a 250-year-old farm, so I've been involved with that aspect of things and just obsessed with history in general. It was my best subject in school my whole entire life. So like 16 years ago, my father has hauled mobile homes my entire life also, and around 16 years ago or so, he found a bounty hunter in a trailer and gave it to me, and that was kind of where I started out. But around 5 years ago was really when I got more hardcore into it. I'd spent a lot of times just kind of digging around at the local boat landing and finding different horse tack stuff along my family farmland. But then like 5 or so years ago, I picked up an AT Pro and really got more hardcore into it. Met up with Ed a few years ago and started doing more of the group thing, and that led into, all Metal Militia, the forming of this group, just because, like we all said, we've all come from kind of different points on the map in our local area, and that helped a lot. I think we all have like mindsets, but different geographical locations and landscapes that we have access to, and we kind of Voltroned up together to make this one strong beast that can attack this whole thing in a completely different way than we were able to do as solo hunters, and it's the amalgamation just keeps growing and growing, and I'm really, really excited to see where everything goes from here for sure.
Right, between all the land that you guys already have access to and future permissions to come, it sounds like you guys are really sitting in a great spot.
Yeah, and we're trying to, with a lot of these old sites and everything, I mean, the farmers, they know about those bottle dumps, and I mean, I'll let Jim tell you about how his passion is for bottle dumps. I mean, he likes to swing the detector around, but you mentioned those and his ears perk right up.
Right, but he sounds kind of like, what? Squirrel? Somebody say bottle dump?
Well, I kind of, you know, as far as the detector goes, I've been using detectors for probably about 6 years. First detector was the AT Pro, when all that hype came out and you had to wait for one for months. But along with that came the bottle digging, talking to people about local history, and I'll tell you what, when I first found a decent bottle dump, I was hooked with that for a long time. As a matter of fact, I spent a year probably doing that every weekend, with the same obsession I have now for the detecting. It's quite a trip. But yeah, the AT Pro and then on to the Mind Lab. But really, I've been before any of that, even when I was a young child, 4 or 5 years old, my mother still tells stories where I'm out there digging in the rocks and the dirt, and I wanted to be an archaeologist when I was a kid. I wanted to dig dinosaur bones, you know? So it kind of grew with the obsessions, and that's why I like these guys, because they share that same obsession. They'll go all day. We'll go 12, 14 hours sometimes, from sun up to sundown.
Blistering sun, and downpours.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's like our fix, you know, and we all kind of share that. So it's nice to share the same common denominator, and I love this hobby. I love, you know, where we're going and where we could possibly go from here, you know?
Absolutely, I agree. What other hobby can you find where you can have this much fun and reap so many rewards, as well as making the connections with friends, memories, helping others? And by the way, happy birthday. You recently had a birthday.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, that was a great day, huh? Having your
cake and eating it too.
Having cake and eating it too that
right.
day. I tell you what, I think I was just as happy with those ice cream sandwiches as I was with anything that day. It was so hot.
Right. Good video, though.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, absolutely. We all have lots of different things that we bring, you know, and like Jay, he brings the video and the editing and stuff, and it just wraps and ties everything together so nicely, you know.
Right. Yeah, he does an excellent job at it. I do have to say that. They're very enjoyable. Always put together quite well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm just trying to send the links here so you guys can download the program for yourself and give it a try.
Yeah,
again, it is pretty
expensive.
It's got a steep learning curve, but once you get a hang of it, it's amazing what anyone can do nowadays with technology.
Right. Yeah. Well, and some of us out there don't mind the steep learning curve. We love diving into stuff like that.
Oh yeah, certainly. Yeah, I mean, part of the fun for me is taking the different stories that each one of us do, because most of us have a camera on us at all times, and we're walking around different parts of the property, capturing all kinds of different things. So at the end of the day, I'm putting together, 4, 5, 6 stories to create one. And also, we have a couple of drones that we fly around from time to time, and incorporating that into the B-roll of the story it's a blast. I really enjoy this a lot. But
right, getting the different angles and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you get a great idea of what the property really looks like, and where some potential old roads may have been when you get an eyes eagle's eye view from the top up there.
Mm-hmm. Right, and it looks like there's already people that are very interested in that software. They're thanking you in the chat.
Yeah, thank you. We'll enjoy it.
Well, and that's the other thing about what we do is not only are we trying to do, put things out about what we do, but we're also trying to help people along the way because, we've all started in the same place and we don't know, a lot of guys don't know, where to start, how to begin, all that stuff. I think with what Kendall was saying earlier about all of our experiences kind of merging, I think it was either him or Mark that said that, but all of our experiences merging together and everything has just ultimately at the end of the day has made this process, it's a lot of effort on everybody's part, but it's made the process of coming together and putting this material out there for people to enjoy and for us to be able to share our story. It's made it a lot easier than what I think a lot of people would go through. Because I don't think that I would be able to do this on our own, and I know other people in the group wouldn't be able to possibly, do the magnitude of what we're doing alone. It's a lot of work. It's a group effort, and having us six together, working together as a team, has been super helpful when it comes to that stuff.
Right, not to mention the fact that I'm sure with the varied skill set and everything, everybody's learning something new from everybody.
All the time.
That's one of the great things of the hobby. You've got the opportunity, as long as you're open-minded, you can literally learn something new every day.
I think if you're not learning something new every day or every time you go out, I don't think you're doing it right.
Right? Or if just when you think you've learned all there is to learn and all there is about treasure hunting or detecting or history or even identification of finds, well, it's probably time to hang up your gear.
Indeed.
But you guys, you've been doing very well. You're going a long way with it. And it's definitely fun to be along for the ride vicariously.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate any support that we get, and I guess that's one of the things with the giveaways. We're trying to stay as interactive as possible in the group. I think it can get fairly overwhelming at times, but we all try to take turns with what we do. With trying to do little giveaways or just staying in touch with some of the followers that are under the group, posting pictures about what we find, any information about things that we find, and right now we're trying to give away the TechPoint pinpointer there. And again, like you said, all people need to do is just go onto our YouTube channel, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, let us know that you like what we're doing, and then just, share our Facebook friends or our Facebook page with your friends, and it's just as simple as that. And then, you can pop in a comment on below the pinpointer post that we have up on top. It's right there. It's pinned right to the top of the page. And as soon as we hit 200, I know we set the bar a little high when we first started it, but we're creeping. And as soon as we hit that, we're going to be giving it away for free to somebody. We'll figure out who it is and mail it to them, and they'll be walking away with a free pinpointer for showing us some support. And it's just the beginning of a lot of things that we have planned for this group and for people that are staying in touch with us.
Absolutely. And you guys will get there. It just takes time, and I'm sure even if the giveaway is what brings them in, the content will definitely keep them there. You guys do have some very good content. And speaking of support, we've got a caller. How's it going, Swansea?
Mr. Joshua Kimball. How are you, buddy?
All right. I seem to have a few of your buddies on here tonight.
You've got some of the best guys in the hobby that are local to New Hampshire on your show, and I congratulate every one of them for what they're doing for their content. These guys are top-notch. I've met Ed a few years ago in a random spot right around the corner from my house in a farm field where the barn was caved in. Ed, do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, and now I believe there's houses there now. Yep.
Yeah, there's like 6 or 7 houses there now. Yep, I agree, buddy. But you know what? You guys are killing it. You guys are content is amazing.
Thank you, dude.
Yeah, that means a lot. And the one thing that I do want to say is when I met Brandon, however many years back, it was, I learned a lot from him, and a lot of what I know, especially now about trimes. When I found my trime, my one and only trime, I literally had no idea what I had just dug. And I mean, he was the first one to come up and say, this is what it is, this is how you go about it. And I mean, everything that I knew going into this hobby, it really started off with him telling me about a lot of the stuff that he had found out along the way. So I can't thank him enough for that. And I know I'm where I'm at now because of a lot of stuff that I've learned from him.
That's awesome. That's great to hear, because I mean, Swansea does a very good job with what he does as well, and also very passionate about the hobby and the history.
Indeed.
I will tell you one thing, Josh, about these guys that are from my hometown of Swansea, New Hampshire. Ed, of course, lives in Swansea. Jay, I think he lives outside of Swansea. But a lot of these guys are from the Keene, parts of Vermont, close by. These guys take no slight at to what we're going to. We went to Grafton, Vermont. I think this was probably 3 years ago, wasn't it, Ed? And we got onto a site where we didn't find anything. Then we found this little kind of on the roadside place where it was at the bottom of a ski resort, Ed, if I think it was correct. And we pounded the crap out of that place after asking these people if we can get on that property. We were supposed to go to a property in Grafton that was a home site. We did there for a little bit, and then we went to that spot, and we still had the best time. I think there was probably 10 of us that time. You remember what I'm talking about, Ed?
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a lot. That was another hot day in, I think, July or August, too, that we did that. And back when I was just starting to get some permissions, it was a fun time for sure. I think that was the day did you bring home a gold ring or something that day you found?
I did find that 1914 gold ring, yep. And there was also a chain scent found that day by Jake, I believe.
Yeah, my cousin, actually. I just told that story the other day. It was the first coin he ever found with a metal detector. It was no, it wasn't a chain scent. It was a Fugio.
That's a heck of a way to start.
Yep, and we sat down with the owners of the permission and talked to them and showed them everything that we found and offered, obviously, Josh, everything that we found if they wanted it, and offered them, if you want to keep this, you can keep this, you can keep that. And they said, no, we were just humbled to be part of the property, and they said that we could keep everything we found. It was pretty cool.
Wow,
and
nice.
I came across that property because back when Hurricane Irene went through and pretty much decimated all of that area, I had volunteered some time with some friends and everything, and we got to talking, and that was when I first started getting into the hobby. And I knew a little bit of history about that land that they were on, and all it was a conversation, talking to the landowners, letting them know what we're interested in doing, and so on and so forth. And they gave us our blessing, or their blessing, to come up and search. And that's kind of what we're experiencing right now. I mean, everybody in the group is putting in their own time for permissions and whatnot, and we're taking turns going around to everybody's individualized, permission. And it's the same concept, you talk to the landowners, give them some, show them some respect, let them know what you're all about. And they don't always say yes, but pretty much 90% of the time around this area, they're intrigued about what we do. So that's very cool.
Well, even 90%, though, that's still a pretty good success rate.
Especially in this area, Josh.
Right.
Especially if you look like me. I'm covered in tattoos, and I'm here to tell you that if a dude that's got a face tattoo can walk up and knock on an old timer's door and show them that you're really respectful and interested in the history of their land and interested in the architecture of their house or just their work that they do to take care of their land, that you can, as long as you're respectful, that you can get permission from just about anybody. So if you just have anybody out there that's listening that, you're worried about how you go about getting permission, you're not going to learn unless you go out and do it. So just go out and knock, put a smile on your face, act like you're asking them for something that you want, be respectful, be appreciative of your landowners, get your permissions the right way. Don't just go in and and just do what you want until you're told to do otherwise. Go in and ask permission. You know, get up and do it. Be brave about it, and it'll pay off eventually for sure.
So you're not one of them going, let's send Swansea up to the door. He looks like he's still in high school. We're sure in with him.
Yeah.
I would like to send Joe up to the door. He's got a real friendly face.
Yeah,
Joe's great at getting permissions, man.
Yes, he is.
He's such a kind, respectful dude, and people just gravitate towards that guy and love him, and he gets lots of good permissions.
And he's excited about doing it. Joe is a huge staple to the group when it comes to that stuff. I mean, he's always out there, always talking to new people. I mean, he texts us pretty much every night, "Hey guys, I'm working on this," and I mean, we absolutely appreciate the fact that he's doing that, and it was awesome to see it all pay off for him. And as you saw in the video, Joe had his day. You know, when he pulled out that big old silver ECU French coin there, I mean, that was a heart attack.
Phenomenal.
There, I'll tell you what. Yeah.
Right.
So it's good to see those kind of rewards.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, that video was quite comical in its own, with everybody else just kind of standing around looking like, how did we miss this?
I don't think the video does a job. I mean, we literally went through there, every one of us, at least a dozen times, and he just happened to go through the right way. And I mean, that right there shows you that I don't care what people tell you, that you'll never hunt out any land. I mean, there's always something to be found, always.
And it really also is a testament to the fact that, you know, there's so much infighting in different groups about what machine is better, what machine is capable of what, especially, you know, nowadays with a lot of the multi-frequency technology coming out from different companies as opposed to other companies that are still running on single frequency. You know, Joe found that with a single frequency machine. He knows his machine, and multi-frequency machines went over that. And I can tell you that to me, personally, as I said on the video, it almost sounded like a coin on edge. But to my machine, that sound is also a square nail sitting straight up in a hole. And I walked over that. We all walked over that signal. So it just goes to show that, you know, it's all, as Joe says, it's a numbers game. You know, it's a game of millimeters. It's a game of how you swing over it, knowing your machine. There's so many factors that go into it that don't just have to do with hardware. And it really doesn't matter, you know, what your budget is. You can come into this game and just put your effort in, put your time in, and really walk away with great results, regardless of what you're swinging. It's all about, you know, what you're about, not what your machine's about, you know?
Absolutely. The most important part is spending time with the machine in real in-field experience to get to know what that machine's telling you. I mean, you could have the best equipment in the world. If you don't know what that machine's telling you, you're going to get smoked every time by those that know their machine.
Indeed. I actually explained it to a guy not that long ago, you know, he had some questions about, you know, how to read your machine, what sounds do you listen for, things like that. I don't have kids, but I kind of compared it to people with kids, I guess. You know, when they're growing up and they're not really talking, but they're trying, you know, the parents are the first ones to know what they're saying, what they need, what it means, you know. And I guess it's kind of in comparison the same with a metal detector. I mean, if you have that detector around you all the time, I mean, any little squeak bump, different pitch, whatever, you know, the only person that's really going to know it is the parent of that machine, the person that's putting in the time to learn that machine, to have that machine around all the time. And the more you get to know it, the better your finds will be. I mean, you'll spend less time digging junk. I mean, you guys see in the videos, we dig tons of junk. But it will help you kind of reduce that. I'm sure we miss things from time to time. I mean, like we were looking for that earring the other day and just gave us some perspective on how incredibly difficult it is finding jewelry that small could be.
Those
so
are
I'm sure
tough.
there's times for stuff, but it all boils down to just, like Mark said, just learn your machine and you'll do fine.
Right. And that's one of the nice things, quite refreshing actually, with the videos, is the fact that you guys do have a good mix of machines. So you're able to compare signals and everything, and there's none of this, my machine's better than yours because I use Fisher and it's better than MineLab, or vice versa, or I'm running MineLab and I'm going to find it all because you're using XP or whatever. It's everybody's out there just trying to do what they can with what they've got, and with comparing the signals, you're all learning something about everyone's machines.
Yeah, we try to do that too. I mean, you'll see in the videos, we're always trying to swing over other people's good tones, and we're trying to put a guess in just to see what it is. I mean, we're always learning, and just because one machine says one thing, another machine could say another, and it'll teach us all, what to pay attention to. I mean, I'm sure Kendall can attest to the fact that he's digging some sounds and numbers now that he probably never dug before until Joe popped out that big old silver coin in front of us. But
right.
It is.
Yeah, it does kind of make you dig a little more then after that, going, wow, is there another one around here? Does it have friends?
Yeah, that was a little bit of the inspiration, I think, for the name of All Metal Militia, was this idea of a group of people coming together with, bringing their own machine, their own hunting style, their own preferred place to hunt, and getting called up to come and to take on the mission, in defense of history. So that idea of us all having the different machines is something that I think inspired us to do what we're doing right now.
Right. And I guess now's as good a time as any to ask too, were you one of them along for the attempted earring recovery?
That was you, Kendall.
Yeah, I was along for the attempted earring recovery. It was tough, those little tiny pieces of gold with any machine. I think everybody knows those are tough things to find, especially the long grass. And at one point we were just down on our hands and knees with our pinpointers.
Even the pinpointers, we had different types of pinpointers too. That, I mean, they were even difficult to pick up because the earring itself, the stud, the back, was missing, and that's how the woman knew that she had lost it. She felt that and actually caught it before she got off the lawnmower. But I mean, we used everything we could. We threw everything we could, and I do know that we're probably going to go back. I know Jay has a couple machines that he wants to try on it as well, but we're not done. We're going to try.
Right, not giving up. Were there a number of targets in the area? Yeah,
there was a number of targets in that area, and actually.
Yeah. The day that we were there looking for the earring, we were hitting some targets, and they said, "Yeah, you go ahead and dig them." And I think we dug a few wheat pennies. What else? Maybe a button or something.
I got a musket ball later on.
Yeah, and then after the attempted recovery, we got the welcome to come back and dig the larger property. Just spent a little bit of time there, but some musket balls, some more buttons, merc dime, stuff like that have come out of there. So
right now, what version are you running on your Deus, Kendall?
I just upgraded to 5.2. I was running 4.1 before that, but I got the new X35 coil, and so I ran into the new update now.
So you've even got an X35 then?
Yep. My stock 11-inch coil had catastrophic failure. I thought it was just the battery, but sent it back to XP, and it was a warranty replacement. And we had a big hunt coming up the next weekend. I hadn't got the stock coil back yet, so I bought the X35 in the meantime. So now I have two 11-inch coils, nice, as well as the 9-inch. But I find use for all of them. Different hunting conditions call for different coils.
So what?
I see Fred in the chat actually just said. Oh, sorry. I see Fred in the chat just said he tried an earring recovery as well, and none of his machines would hear it. So we're not the only one.
No, they can be very tough. They're a real pain, whether you're on a recovery or whether you just run across them naturally. They're not real easy. What frequency were you running on the X35 that day?
What is the highest frequency? 24, I think.
Okay.
Is that, yeah, I mean, cranking it up, my understanding, and, you know, I generally, when I relic hunt, run in 12 or even sometimes 8, but my understanding is that those higher frequencies are better for the little tiny targets and the gold, so
right,
that's
yeah.
what I was giving it a go with.
Yeah, absolutely. It might not have been a bad idea. Maybe you had, and I don't know, I wasn't there, maybe you had even thought about that or did that, but it might not have been a bad idea if she had the other ear rings, so you had at least some sort of a base signal to go off of, and maybe even try putting it in, maybe even try putting on your XY screen.
Yeah, I run the XY screen all the time. Actually, I like that over the horseshoe. I know some people disagree with that, but I like the XY screen. And we actually did have the other stud, and we spent a lot of time saying, "Hey, can we see that other stud for a minute?" and swinging over it again and trying to tune in and adjusting programs and really trying to get a signal that would give us the sure thing, you know.
They actually put it in a small little zip-up bag and left it on the ground for us to keep passing over just to kind of get an idea what the sound is, to go through some of the settings and whatnot. And I think it was Kendall that actually said, well, it's going to sound different without that backing on there. And as soon as we plopped that off, it just completely changed the game. And it was kind of a kick to the stomach knowing that we were pretty much looking for a needle in a haystack at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough, but hopefully you guys manage to find it for her.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Yeah.
You need to buy a gold bug.
A gold bug?
Yeah.
Well, you know, there you go. Ed's the Fisher guy.
Yeah. Well, we do good in our recoveries. I mean, and ever since we posted that video, I mean, it was big. I mean, it was big to the family, and I mean, they did a lot of the advertising for that video itself. And we've had many people already reaching out to a few of us, you know, with, hey, I lost this a few years ago. Hey, I lost that a year ago. Hey, I lost this a couple months ago. Can you guys help out? And I mean, we're all about doing that. And you know, we try to pick a time that works for the best or for the rest of us during the week if we can, because we're all working. But I mean, with the summertime going on, you have longer evenings, and it gives us a chance to get out there and basically stay sharp in the hobby, prepare for the weekends together and going out and actually, you know, hunting some relics.
Right, absolutely, I agree. And it sounds like with the mix of machines, you guys shouldn't have any problems. It's, you know, there again, an earring without the back, a gold stud like that. It really is, like you said, you're looking for a needle in a haystack.
Yes, we are. But you never know. Sometimes maybe she might hop in her car one time or something, and it'll just be sitting in the seat for all we know. I mean, it happens, you know. Sometimes people think they lost it right there and then, and, you know, maybe it got stuck to a piece of clothing and it made it somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they always swear that they lost it right where they noticed it was gone. They're like, oh, well, it had to be right here because that's where I was when I realized it was missing. And we find out many times that's not always the case. But these recovery attempts, whether they're successful or not, I'm sure you guys know as well, goes a long way to keeping the hobby in a good light and bringing in those permissions through networking and everything. And we've actually got a guy on that knows his fair share of gold, too. How's it going, Chuck?
Pretty good, Josh. Hi, guys. How's it going tonight? I am enjoying your show immensely.
Hey, Chuck. Thank you.
How you doing, Chuck?
And sometime I'll get on when I got time to get on and watch you on YouTube, too. But I have recovered 6 post earrings now. I'm
right, because
Equinox.
Rarely they're lost with the back.
Right, and every one of these, it was just the post, and the first 2 I got was on the same day. I had a little girl call me, and she lost it on a ball diamond, which is not a grassy field, but it got stomped into the ground, and the first one I found, I snapped a picture, sent it to her. She was in school, sent it back and said, that one's not mine. So then I continued to look, and found another one, and then I had another gal get a hold of me, and I'm using a Knox in a Parks 2 setting.
And that's an 800.
That's what I run my Knox in.
That's the 800. But the first two I found were with a 600. The others have all been with an 800. Now, I do have one question. She was on a lawnmower, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. She felt it drop, the backing drop off. So the earring went off. Did you guys really look over the lawnmowers, such as the seat where the cushions meet, where it may have dropped down alongside and went into the cushion?
Right, the floor, the deck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, her husband initially pushed the lawnmower over to the...
on a very expensive ring one night a lady had lost, and my brother-in-law's in the police department, and I'm on a fire department, and I've taken the investigation classes, and we looked at each other. The guys had looked, the cops were down with flashlights in the dark. Brother-in-law just happened to say, "Did you guys look in the car?" Well, down in the pocket, it dropped into the pocket on the side of the inside of the car. So, sometimes things aren't quite what they appear to be. And
yeah, we absolutely checked
they
out
called
the
us for the
lawnmower.
detectors. We never got them out of the car.
Yeah.
So, but I'm using the Equinox. I'm using the 800. I'll go into Parks 2, and basically, it's a low tone. It's extremely low. You're talking, let's see, two of them were at 2, one was at 4, and it's just that post, and it will hammer them.
Awesome. We had the gentleman actually tell us about the he came over to Kendall and was talking to him about how they went through everything, and then I know he ended up moving the lawnmower.
Yeah, he said he moved the lawnmower over to the driveway and then rinsed the whole thing off and then went through all of the clippings and the dirt in the driveway and couldn't find it. And then we went back and took a look for it as well there on the lawnmower and couldn't find it. So it's a big yard,
it was just something that popped up in my mind, and I sat there going, I've had a couple of things that happened. So I'm using the Knox. I just do a straight Parks 2. I don't do anything fancy with it. I watch for the low side of it, and they hit real low because they're so tiny, but they do sound off very well. But if you go over it and you just get a slight tone and a flash, a 2, 4, maybe even a 5, concentrate on it.
Yeah, it'll ring up just like, a good way to test it probably is just take yourself a piece of a gum wrapper or something and wave that under your coil, because it's going to be right about the same range.
Small, real small, and Crystal was very happy, and she even knew the gal that lost the other one I found that same morning, and that was drove down. That one was over 2 inches deep.
Wow. 2 happy people that day, though.
Yes, there were 2 happy little girls. The one started crying when I gave it back to her, and I'm like, well, don't do that. And it's a diamond. It was a 3-carat diamond, so her mom had given it to her the Christmas before.
Wow.
I think the best thing about going through an experience like that is when we actually get back out in the fields and the woods and whatnot on these home sites, and, I mean, you start ringing up some large scents or, it changes everything. The buttons and everything, it gets you back to reality.
The one gal, I found a ring for her, and her husband said it's probably not there. Well, it took 3 outings to find it. She was casting grass seed in the spring, and it was cool, and she took her glove off, and she started throwing, and, of course, gone, and a real fine back. She's a very petite gal, and the third time out, I found it, and she said, "What do I owe you?" I said, "You owe me nothing." They knew her home, and she said, "Well, I just baked a couple dozen cookies." I said, "I'll take some cookies. Definitely, if you're that fresh." And she had fresh Toll House and a cup of coffee, and that's the best I ever got.
Can't turn that down.
And then about 2 weeks later, she sent me a couple dozen more, and I wouldn't share them with anybody, I'll tell you that.
Nice.
So that's the best tip I've got for you. And And all the others, it seems to me, have been just by chance. I hear that clip and see that number, and it's like, but getting down with a pinpointer and trying to recover it is a difficult task.
Yeah, that's about the toughest part of it, because you're moving it around and you're going, well, it's small, where is it?
In fact, I posted up giving Crystal and that other gal on a YouTube, or not YouTube, on a live.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and she was very happy. And I've got two sitting upstairs. One's a diamond, one's fake. I don't know who they belong to. I found them in an area in a park.
Right. Just happened to stumble across them.
So I'll back out of here. That's the best I have to offer for you. You guys go to parks too and your Knoxes and watch that low side, and it's just a short hit. I mean, and you got to creep around doing it. You guys sound like you got a very specific area to hunt, and there's 4 or 5 of you hunting it. I would imagine you guys will cover it pretty methodically.
I'm doing the best we can.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you.
Oh, that's all right, guys, and thank you for putting out good videos.
Thank you for your support, bud.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yep, and if we get to cross paths, I'll enjoy that. I'm going to be out in eastern Pennsylvania, and then we're going to do some swinging around the East Coast this September, so maybe we can cross paths. You guys have a great day, and good hunting to you.
Thanks.
You as well, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for the call, Chuck. Well, there you go, and Chuck does certainly like to travel when he gets the opportunity to, and when it comes to machines, he knows his stuff.
That's awesome. We're always open to tips. I mean, anybody, that's the community. I mean, whatever we can do to help each other out is the best thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, those of us that are willing to listen, it only helps to make us all more successful in the field.
Absolutely.
And there's certainly nothing wrong with that. I mean, who doesn't like to have a good day in the field?
Well, we've been very lucky with what we've been showing and everything. And I mean, even the first time that we decided to start filming for a YouTube channel and everything, it just goes to show you the kind of permissions and the kind of history that's buried out there that people don't even realize. I mean, the landowners were very, we were very thankful for what they were able to put us on and, kind of give us a heads up about some of the history that had taken place. And that's essentially what goes on with most of these areas is that the landowners will let us know, anything that they've heard over the years or growing up, any history on the house or the property. And you start getting into those finds, and you can, if you really pay attention to what you're finding, you can put a picture together about what happened on that land, and it'll lead you to better areas in those permissions. And we found over the years, we found old home sites and old campsites and just different places and different things that, based on what we're finding, it just tells a story and it brings it all together. And that's what leads us to some of these finds. I mean, some of these finds that we've had this last summer alone as just a new group together have been some of the best that we've ever had in all years combined. So we're very lucky, we're very fortunate, and we hope that we can keep it going, especially for the people that are tuning in and following us.
You guys have been doing very, very well for yourselves with finds on recent videos and everything, which I guess is another good point. What is each of the panel here, I guess you could say, what's been your favorite find for each of you together as a group? Not necessarily most value or most historical, but your most memorable find.
Most memorable as a group in a whole?
As a group, like you were all out together, and like the ECU popped up that day. I'm sure for him it was just mind-blowing. You know, wow, I can't believe this. This is such a memorable find.
Yeah, I had that counterfeit 8 real that I found that at first, that blew my mind. That was the first time I ever had the shakes. And then, but I think ultimately at the end of the day, I think the best, and the video that I've actually watched several times myself, it reminds us of how good we are doing together and how happy we are together, being able to hunt and go to these permissions is that ECU footage, is that time that Joe found that. And I know, he was beside himself when he pulled that out of the ground. And I think for me, I'm not going to speak for everybody else, but I think for me, that was the most incredible find and incredible moment that we've all shared together as a group. And we were blessed to be able to capture it all on film and be able to show it to everybody that's interested in seeing.
Well, and that's a good point too. When you guys do catch this stuff on film, you're genuinely happy for each other. You know, there's no jealousy or animosity or anything. Maybe a fair amount of envy, but no jealousy.
Yeah, there was a fair amount of that for sure.
There's some friendly competition for sure.
Right?
We're always giving each other something. We're always bantering back and forth. We're always making, little side things here and there. Who can find this? Who can find that? But ultimately, it's awesome to see. It doesn't matter who finds it. It really doesn't. In an episode coming up in the near future, there's one of us, we won't name the names now, but there's one of us that just had an incredible day. And those are the moments that, it's a long, hot day for the most of us, but to see one person actually come out at the end with the finds that he had it's just incredible. And we hope people tune in to watch that coming up. That will be in one of the future episodes. But not to mention, Josh, is that, we have 2 people in the group this year alone have found George Washington buttons. And that would be, Jim and Kendall.
I know,
so,
that's just crazy insane. I've seen, I believe 3 of them show up in your videos. Granted, the third one wasn't by one of the core members. That was Maya, but 3 of them in a short amount of time. And it's like, good Lord, these guys are on some great spots.
Yeah. And the one where Jim found his, Jim and Maya found theirs at the same time. That was out in the middle of nowhere. And I know Kendall found his as well. And I remember him calling us and video chatting with us saying, "Hey guys, I think I did it."
Yeah, I remember the go live. That was awesome. I think
that was a pretty exciting one.
Yeah, I think Kendall kind of had the shakes that day himself.
Yep. About as soon as I got finished with that live video, I got in touch with these guys, and that's just another great thing. Even when we're not together as a group, we probably talk every day about the hobby, about things that we found on our own, about things that we're looking forward to get the group together. So yeah, it's just we're doing it all the time.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's kind of, this is Jim. It's kind of like the thing that sometimes on a Saturday morning you get up and you just wonder what could possibly push the envelope after the previous weekend. It's a challenge and an excitement and an adrenaline rush. I remember that the time that I found mine, I think we had to wait out a thunderstorm for about an hour, and in between that,
We almost decided to go home.
almost decided to go home or go to a different location.
Yeah, Jay actually went home that day, but
I did.
And I want to say this was on a Sunday. We realized we all had to go to work at Monday morning, and I didn't even get home until like 9:30 at night. We actually walked out of the woods in the dark, and I'm like, wow, obviously it was worth it that day, but you're just like, well, we've just pushed it to the limits, and got out of there just in time to where we couldn't even see. This group, we push each other. We bring each other up. and it's just an awesome feeling. I can't even explain.
And we're always rooting for each other. I mean, there's a lot of finds that we have, and a lot of times, I know Jim has found a couple quarters here and there. We're like, oh, it's just he's been Jim, but whatnot. But I mean,
right?
The amount of stuff that he finds too is it's incredible. I mean, every one of us pull out some very, very decent history, and it's funny because right before Joe actually pulled out the ECU, Kendall and I were having a side conversation about the episodes and about, filming and this and that, and just saying, we got to keep it going. We're doing good stuff and blah, 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 blah. And it was like no less than 5 minutes later, Joe goes, I think I have a coin tone. And then everything just happened from there. And we were able to get it. And it's been a very, very good motivational point in our group, I think, was that moment that we knew that we need to keep just doing what we're doing to show people what we're finding and show people what they're walking over every single day, and they have no idea.
Absolutely, because it shows you don't get it all. You do miss a signal from time to time or come across it the right angle or whatever, and that anything and everything can pop up anywhere.
Yeah. I think the only thing that's really going to top that for us this summer is if there was ever a gold coin found.
It's when I find my gold.
There you go. Yeah, that would definitely be nice. That would definitely be nice to see in an upcoming video, but the way you guys are going at it, if it's out there, it's only a matter of time. One of you's going to find it.
Yeah, we definitely still have a lot of property. I mean, probably literally thousands of acres of property that we have access to. And this time of year it's kind of tough because you got a lot of the hay fields growing, you got a lot of the corn fields growing. It's difficult to get into a lot of those permissions, but once that stuff is cut, man, you'll start seeing our videos with us being out in those fields, and that's where the history is. Right along the Connecticut River Valley it's loaded. And the great thing about the hobby and about all that history being buried in the ground, along with the farmers, that history is spread around in so many areas that it's open to anybody. I mean, it's anybody's game. And like Kendall was saying earlier, it does not matter what you're swinging for a detector. All you have to do is have a detector that have the ambition and the drive to go out and spend the days in the weather, walk many, many miles. I mean, there's times that, in Jim's birthday episode, you'll hear him say, he had a day where it was like 6 or 7 hours before he found anything that was even remotely nice in our eyes, and all of a sudden, all it takes, we have a standing thing in the group. Who's going to find the first coin and open it up for the rest of us? Who's going to find that first relic that starts that pace for the day? And it does. Sometimes it takes an hour. Sometimes it takes 3. Sometimes it takes more.
6 or 7
6 or 7 hours. But, we stick to it.
Our first video is a prime example of that, honestly, because that day we hadn't found much at all. We had all been swinging around all day long, and then Kendall came across, I think, an Indian head penny first, and then I found a large scent right after that, and then I found another large scent 5 feet from that, and then we all, unfortunately, Kendall had to leave, and we've got kind of a running joke in the group that whenever Kendall leaves, the ground kind of lights up.
Opens up. It happened a few times.
But right after that, we all started digging stuff up like crazy, and we all kind of zeroed into this one area and, kind of surmised that obviously something had happened there, and we were pulling out large scents left and right and all kinds of relics left and right. So, sometimes you can swing all day long, and it's that trope in metal detecting, it's that dumb luck, that, headed to the car type of luck. You always want to swing on your way to your vehicle for sure, because you're going to spend 3 hours getting to your vehicle, because every tone from there on out is going to be a good tone, because that's just cruel fate.
Right.
You got to leave, start pulling up everything good, but it's just, you got to have that stick-to-itiveness. Dig it all, for real. I know that's said over and over again, and you don't want to dig it all, and we all get, kind of not lazy or anything like that, but we all get overconfident about how we know what's what, but honestly, that's kind of a load, because it's not always like that. You don't always know what's what. You really got to figure it out. You got to pull it up out of the dirt and lay eyes on it yourself, and it can take all day. And obviously, you're going to have weeks on end sometimes where you're not going to find anything. Hopefully that doesn't happen to too many people out there. Hopefully you guys are digging up all kinds of stuff all the time. But I mean, there's definitely going to be times where you're just helping clean up the ground, and that's saying something too. I mean, that's a big part of this hobby that I enjoy personally, is the fact that, we are kind of by default almost environmentalists, because we spend the time to pull up garbage out of the ground and don't throw it away. Yeah,
There's
a lot of
lead. A ton of lead around here.
So, that's something that I really enjoy about it also, the aspect of being able... I live personally in a much more wooded area. I live in deep forest area. So nature is a big part of why I get out in the woods and stuff like that, just to enjoy the ground. And getting to clean it up is a huge plus in my book also. So if you're not finding anything out there that you find is worthwhile, at least take solace in the fact that you're doing us all some good, on the planet. We all got to share it. So, I mean, at the very least, you're doing your part to pick up, and that's saying something for real. So at least feel proud of yourself for that, is what I would say about that. It can take all day to find something good, but no matter what, you're still taking care of the earth.
No find is a bad find.
Exactly.
Right, and hey, at least if you're getting it out of the ground on that trip, it's not there for you to run across the next time.
That's right, you're cleaning up the trash one way or the other, for yourself or for somebody else.
Right, you'll get to the good targets one way or the other, either by a process of elimination or just stumbling across it one way or the other, you'll get it.
I'm going to say, sometimes you got to work for it.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, I'm sure we've all had those days where we make that really great find right out of the gate, first 15 minutes of the hunt or whatever, and then that keeps us out there for the next 4 hours finding nothing because we're going, well, we got to find the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's funny you say that, because I was talking about the future episode coming up, and you'll see exactly that.
Yeah. We all encourage each other a lot, but we also, I think, all realize that if you're the one that's finding most of the good stuff at that point, you've earned a lot of good razzing at that point also from everybody else in the group. We'll still raise you up, but we're going to give you some crap at least.
Right, kind of going, yeah. I'm going to pay for this in the long run.
Yeah.
Or sometimes people will dig something good, and instead of calling out, "Hey, I got silver," they go, "Uh-oh."
Yeah. Right, here it comes.
Yeah, like, "Uh-oh, guys, I don't know what it is, but uh-oh."
Right. Yeah, I think that's actually what I've been doing with the last couple of Indians that I've found. I'll post up right away. Uh-oh, don't tell Barb.
Yeah.
Oh, but then I bring it on myself too, because I have to tag her in those posts as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, friendly competition is definitely important. It keeps us all going, I think. If you don't have somebody else to play off, you got to go make some friends for sure.
When she comes across a horde of Indian heads, I'm sure she's going to give you the uh-oh.
Right. Well, no, it'll probably be Cody that she gives the uh-oh to with that. But either way, no big deal, no problems. It's all in good fun. And that's one of the great things about your guys' videos. You definitely portray the fact that you're having fun. You're out there enjoying yourselves. Not only is it a motivational thing for you guys, but also I'm sure likewise it's a inspirational or motivational thing for those watching your videos as well, because maybe it inspires them. Hey, I got to get out and try to find something like that. I didn't think about checking this spot until I saw what they did on their video or whatever.
Yeah, and we try to bring that to our videos as well. We try to put a little educational component within of some sort, talking about how we look for spots, or, Jay had a thing in there where he was filling in a plug and giving some commentary with that. And, we want people, we want to spread, like I was saying earlier, Swansea Digger, Brandon, I learned a lot from him, and I guess one way to pay it forward is to figure out a way to be able to, a lot of people that watch this that have been detecting for years, and they know what they're doing, and they know what we're talking about, and all. It might not be very interesting to them, but to the newcomer that doesn't really know what they're getting into, seeing that kind of stuff and seeing how we handle it and what we do with it, hopefully we're spreading good, not only good karma, but good advice to other people to respect and care for the land that they're searching.
Well, and in the terms of the newcomers, it speaks volumes and speeds up the learning curve dramatically for them. Like you said, when you first got into it, you learned a lot from Swansea, and now you guys are kind of paying that forward to other people coming into the hobby through your videos, where they may be able to pick up on these things, and it speeds up the learning curve so much more for them, where they're able to get further ahead that much faster.
Right, and with the amount of experience that we have combined in the group, it's very rarely we'll find stuff that we don't know what it is. As an individual, there's times we find things and we're like, I'm not really sure what this is. What do you think? More often than not, someone in the group has discovered that themselves, done the research, or just already knows what it is, which not only helps us as become better diggers ourselves, but it also allows us to allow viewers and anybody with questions to the group, which we're always open to. It'll allow us to give that information out to people so they don't have to go through the same trouble that we do when we find it and don't know what we're dealing with.
Absolutely. I would agree. And we've actually ran on for quite some time, and I know it's going to take us a little bit before we can get out of here, so I'm going to just kind of mute my mic and hand the floor over to you guys. That way you guys can go around and each of you individually let everybody know how they can find you, your YouTube channel, Facebook page, anything like that you guys would like to plug. Give you guys a few minutes to take that opportunity.
That would be awesome, Josh. Thank you very much.
Hey guys, this is Jay. My YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, all of that can be found at Detecting Wilderness. And if you got any questions, you can also email me at detectingwilderness@gmail.com. Hey, Kendall. On Instagram, YouTube, I go by Ken Dig. Cool nickname I got from Lucky Lou. So that's where you can find me. I'm posting a lot on the XP page, on the All Metal page, and also on my own Facebook page.
Mark, you can add me on Facebook, Mark Poland, MarcPoland. My Instagram is Another Bright Red Day. It's spelled weird, so you can find that on our YouTube channel. My personal YouTube channel is Land Pirate Relic Recovery.
Hey, this is Jim. I'm on Instagram as Monshire Digger, and my YouTube channel is Monshire Digger, and you can find me on the All Metal Militia page.
And I'm Ed. I do have an Instagram and a YouTube myself. My YouTube is DetectEd Outdoors. It's Detected with an ED at the end, so DetectEd Outdoors. My Instagram is Detected Outdoors 3. And also our All Metal Militia page, we are on YouTube as well. All of our links are within the videos, descriptions themselves, so anybody can find us. And I hope you guys would like to tune in and see what we're all up to, not only as a group but individually. If you have any advice, if you have any questions, I know we're all open to it, so feel free to let us know. And then
I also wanted to announce a future giveaway that we're going to be doing. It's going to be involved, rather than sharing our YouTube channel or liking our Facebook group, this one's going to be involving donations to Children's Hospital at Dartmouth. We're going to have the specific details on amounts donated, but this will be for a Profind 35. So stay tuned, join up on All Metal Militia on YouTube, on Facebook, and you'll be able to get the details on that and tons of other great giveaways that we're doing all the time.
Hey, Josh, I did want to say, too, we really miss having Joe here with us tonight. I'm hoping he's listening in, but you can find Joe on Instagram and YouTube as Granite Digger. And he's also always posting on the All Metal Militia page, as well as a lot of the other Facebook metal detecting pages, so you can find him there.
And again, I hope everybody, feel better, Joe, and I hope everybody will at least come over to our Facebook page, check out what we're all about. We try to stay as interactive as possible. We're constantly trying to do interactive things with giveaways, just guessing games, whatever else. We've done a few live digs. Actually, Kendall had a live dig one time from the field where he pulled out a copper, which was very cool for people to pay attention to, just to see what we're doing. And we also have that giveaway for the TechPoint pinpointer. Help us reach 200 subscribers on YouTube. We can't thank you enough for helping us with that. We will do that giveaway when that is accomplished. And it will be followed by other giveaways in the future. So please help us do that. Please stop by, say hi. Feel free to post. Have any questions, just let us know, and we'll do the best we can to stay in touch.
Join your local historical society.
Indeed.
That is great advice to end on, I do believe. And I would like to thank you all once again for taking the time to sit down with us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure, and very, very nice to mention Joe's information as well. We did miss him tonight, but maybe we can get him back on here another time. And, you know, the door's always open for you guys to come back sometime. You guys have been an absolute pleasure, a motivation of sorts, and continued success.
Thank you so much, Josh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Hang in there with me for a few minutes, guys. We're going to roll the music and get on out of here, and then I think I may have some information for Mark just after we get off the air. So, for everyone else,
Thank you.
If you've enjoyed the show, make sure and throw us a like. You can follow us here on Spreaker. You can follow us on Facebook, the Ohio Metal Detecting channel on YouTube, the Metal Detecting Beyond Sight and Sound Facebook group, the Beyond Sight and Sound Facebook page, All Metal Militia on Facebook, Ohio Relic Hunter, Dirt Pirates, and while you're on Facebook anyway, don't forget and check out the other pages as well as Shooters and Prospectors. Can't forget to throw them a like as well. You can join us on all of them, one of them, or none of them. The choice is entirely up to you. Until the next time, though, folks, we've got to roll. We'll see you, I do believe, Wednesday with Steve Zizulik, and we'll see everyone else on the pages. Have a wonderful evening, folks.